He had thought that after being welcomed back into his wealthy family, he would finally have a real home. But Xiao Lu never expected that everyone would dote on the fake young master, Xiao Tsong, instead. For Tsong's sake, they didn't even hesitate to cause his own miserable death. Reborn into a second life, Xiao Lu immediately decided to stay away from his family and stand on his own 2 feet. But then those very people came crying and begging, saying they regretted everything. A sharp smack and a searing pain on his cheek snapped Xiao Lu back to his senses. The air was thick with the clamor of voices, a storm about to break. "Mom, it was Xiao Lu who stole your money. I saw it with my own eyes. What do you expect from someone who came from the slums? He has sticky fingers. He's rotten to the core, and now he dares to frame someone else." Xiao Lu froze, his vision a blur. It took him a moment to realize he must have been reborn at the exact moment he was framed for stealing money. An exquisitely made-up, beautiful woman stood before him with a cold expression. "Xiao Lu, tell Mom the truth. Did you take the money?" He scanned his surroundings, taking in the familiar furnishings and the impeccably dressed Wang Wei before him. Only then did he confirm that he had indeed returned to his 18-year-old self just before the college entrance exams. Beside them, his older sister, Xiaolan, wore a cold sneer. Who else could it be? The money was found in his bag. It's not like someone could have framed him. The words were startlingly familiar. Xiao Lu remembered experiencing this before. His younger brother, Xiao Tsong, was addicted to arcade games and had stolen a considerable amount of money from the family. When Wang Wei found out, Tsong planted the remaining money on Xiao Lu to frame him. His older sister, Xiaolan, had clearly seen the truth, but Xiao Tsong was the brother they had doted on since childhood, while he was just an orphan they had only found when he was 15. The biological son was no match for the one they had raised themselves. She had immediately sided with her younger brother to frame him. Back then, Xiao Lu, unwilling to be wronged, had insisted that his younger brother took the money, saying he had seen him go to the arcade. But the moment the words left his mouth, he was met with the severe rebukes of his mother and sister. They said Xiao Tsong had been a sweet, obedient child since he was young and grew up in a wealthy neighborhood. How could he possibly know what an arcade was? On the other hand, Xiao Lu came from a filthy place like an orphanage, so it was only natural that he would steal. Besides, the money was found in his bag. So, without distinguishing right from wrong, they forced Xiao Lu to kneel in the living room and denied him dinner as punishment. An 18-year-old young man, forced to kneel in the living room like an unwanted stray dog in front of the maids and the driver. Nearby, the rest of the Xiao family was happy, laughing and chatting together. Xiao Lu remembered that scene until the day he died. "Xiao Lu, how dare you slander Tsong? He's young and looks up to you as his older brother. How could you do that to him? Mother is thoroughly disappointed in you. Mom, why waste so many words on him? I say we should make him kneel in the living room until he understands what he should and shouldn't do as a member of the Xiao family. It'll save us the embarrassment he might cause outside." His older sister, Xiaolan, added fuel to the fire. Wang Wei frowned, her face a mask of coldness. "Xiao Lu, tell me the truth. Did you steal the money or not? As long as you nod and admit it, Mom won't blame you." "I did it." Xiao Lu nodded without a second thought. Arguing was pointless. It was better to just admit it. Von Huo Mei was stunned. "What did you steal the money for?" Xiao Lu looked up and smiled. "Isn't it what you said? Coming from a place like that, nothing I do is surprising. Maybe I took it to play arcade games." Smack! Another slap landed. Wang Wei instantly forgot what she had just said, her face contorted with rage. "I knew it was you, and you still dared to frame Tsong. To think I was just wondering if you had some hidden trouble you couldn't speak of. Do you have any decency? You're capable of stealing money. What else wouldn't you dare to do?" Xiao Lu stood his ground, his eyes empty of emotion. After all, whenever Wang Wei and her husband got angry, they would either beat him or curse him. It was a common occurrence in this household. Seeing Xiao Lu's indifferent expression, Wang Wei was both disappointed and furious. She pointed toward the living room and yelled, "You're not allowed to have dinner tonight. Go kneel in the living room. Your sister is right. You need to be properly disciplined, or people will say we Xiao family members have no upbringing." She said it as if it were the most natural thing in the world. These so-called family members had always treated their abuse of him as discipline. They would beat and scold him at the slightest provocation and withhold his food. In his previous life, on the day of his college entrance exams, they had even accused him of stealing a diamond ring and beaten him so badly that he developed a high fever, causing him to underperform and end up in a junior college. Fortunately, Xiao Lu was resilient. Even when his family refused to provide him with any resources, he managed to establish a gaming company on his own. At just 28, he became the youngest CEO of a publicly listed company, with a valuation in the hundreds of millions. But that same year, Xiao Lu was diagnosed with stomach cancer and passed away in just 3 months. The long-term malnutrition and irregular meals had finally taken their toll on his stomach. Xiao Lu possessed astonishing wealth, but he could not save himself. When he died, the Qiao family still doted on Xiao Tsong, not even acknowledging Xiao Lu's identity. Thanks to the Qiao family, Xiao Lu's life was like that of a rat in a sewer. Someone could stomp it to death and then curse its corpse for dirtying their shoe. Back then, Xiao Tsong had deliberately hidden Xiao Lu's medical report. If not for him, Xiao Lu would never have missed the optimal treatment period. After a cold glance at the Qiao family, Xiao Lu turned and went back to his room, locking the door from the inside. It wasn't worth getting upset over a family like this. So, you think you're in the right? You won't listen to a single word now, will you? If I don't teach you a good lesson today, then my surname isn't Wan. Wan Guomei trembled with anger, pointing in Xiao Lu's direction. Xiao Lan pounded desperately on the door. Xiao Lu, get out here. You have the guts to make a mistake, but not the guts to admit it. Is that it? If you're so tough, stay in there for the rest of your life, or else you'll be sorry. She detested this younger brother, Xiao Lu, feeling that his arrival had stolen Tsong place in the family. Moreover, his looks and character were both unremarkable. In contrast, Xiao Tsong pleaded on Xiao Lu's behalf. Brother Xiao Lu might have been short on money recently. You should ask him properly first. Don't be so quick to scold him. Brother Xiao Lu has his pride, you know. Xiao Lan's voice was shrill. He even dares to steal things. What pride does he need? He's been shameless for a long time. Inside the room, Xiao Lu's expression was calm. He listened to the venomous curses with no emotion on his face. He checked his account balance. A little over 900 yuan. If he went to a self-built housing area, it would be enough to rent a room for a month or two. Study hard, and no matter what, hold on until the Gaokao. This was the regret from Xiao Lu's past life. Xiao Lu made his plan. First, he would earn money through game boosting to support himself until the Gaokao. Then he would choose Xiamen University, the furthest from the Qiao family, to study game development. To achieve this goal, he had to score over 600 on the Gaokao. Xiao Lu packed up all his third-year high school study materials and his luggage. Before long, Xiao Jingang's voice came from downstairs. He ran a company and was often so busy he barely touched the ground. As the head of the household, the family could only start dinner each evening after Xiao Jingang returned. What's wrong? Isn't Xiao Lu coming down for dinner? He asked casually. Dinner? That son of yours dared to steal money from home and even framed Song. I said a few words to him, and he just locked himself in his room. Thinking about it now, Wang Guomei was still flustered with anger. He's not hungry. After stealing so much money from the family, he can buy whatever he wants to eat outside. Why would he need to eat with us? Xiao Lan added fuel to the fire. Xiao Lu walked out of his room silently, ignored everyone in the dining room, and turned to go to the study. Mom, look at his attitude. He's completely shameless. Xiao Lan cursed angrily, pointing at Xiao Lu's back. Xiao Lu, get over here. Tell me what good deeds you've done now. Xiao Zhongang impatiently loosened his tie. He hated it when trouble brewed at home, especially when that trouble was caused by Xiao Lu. Adopted at the age of 15, Xiao Lu's adoptive parents unanimously believed he came from the bottom of society and had some incorrigible bad habits that required strict discipline. In the past, Xiao Lu would have approached them trembling with fear. But now, he simply treated the family's words as if they were the wind in his ears, focusing on printing out a severance of relations agreement. Only then did he calmly take a seat at the dining table. In his past life, he had stomach cancer and died before reaching the age of 30. This life, he had to pay attention to a regular diet. Xiao Lu's face was serene as he sat down and began to eat. Wang Guomei was the first to attack. You start eating before your parents have even picked up their chopsticks. You have no manners at all. Some people are just so thick-skinned, stealing something and blaming it on their brother, and they still have the face to eat. Xiao Lan watched the show with a sidelong glance. That's right. Some people clearly saw who took the money but still framed their brother. And now they still have the face to eat, Xiao Lu said with a placid expression. Xiao Lan's face instantly turned pale, and she looked at Xiao Lu with shock and uncertainty. What do you mean by that? There's an order between elders and juniors. Is this your attitude when your older sister is talking to you? Wang Guomei shrieked. They could beat and curse him as they pleased, but he couldn't even speak a word of truth. With a soft laugh, Xiao Lu mocked himself for not having seen Wang Guomei's true colors before. I told you to listen to me. Who gave you permission to eat? With a crash, Wang Guomei casually threw a teacup at him. Xiao Lu didn't flinch or dodge. The teacup shattered on his forehead. A bursting pain spread, and Xiao Lu's head was covered in blood. Ah! Xiao Lan and Xiao Song cried out in alarm. Drip, drip! Blood trickled down from his forehead. Xiao Lu touched it with his hand, which came away bright red. Wang Guomei was startled. Housekeeper, find a doctor, quickly. Make a call. Why must you ruin a perfectly fine day by making your mother angry? Stop arguing. Let's see a doctor first. Apologize to your mother when you're done eating. Xiao Zhengong chose to resolve the dispute with his usual method. It was always like this. No matter what happened in the family, as long as it involved Xiao Lu, they always made him apologize. Xiao Lu put down his bowl and chopsticks and sighed. He felt a little regret for the table of food. However, it was also a good opportunity to make a clean break. Stop pretending to be kind. Weren't you the ones who hit me? You hit me whenever you want, curse me whenever you want, and then you demand an apology from me after you're done. How many times do I have to say it? Xiao Song was the one who stole the money. I did nothing wrong. Wang Guomei slammed the table. You see? I told you he's full of lies. He's still trying to frame Song. Xiao Zhengong's expression grew cold. His son's defiance was wearing out his patience. Mom, stop talking. I'm willing to admit I stole it. Call a doctor quickly. Look, brother is bleeding. Xiao Song ran up crying and even handed Xiao Lu a tissue. Changing her usual disdainful attitude towards Xiao Lu, Wang Guomei hugged Xiao Song with pity. What does this have to do with you? For this brother, you're even willing to admit to the crime of stealing money. He's the one with sticky fingers. He deserved to be beaten. Look at him, refusing to admit his mistake. Does he show any consideration for you at all? You are not allowed to take the blame for him. He doesn't deserve to be your brother. Wang Guomei glared at Xiao Lu and cursed him as if he were some hated enemy. But that's my brother. Watching the tear-streaked Xiao Song, Xiao Lu couldn't help but want to applaud him. To be able to act so well at such a young age, it was no wonder he could coax the Xiao family into complete submission in his past life. Xiao Lu pushed the dishes aside and struggled to blink his eyes, which were blurred with blood. He took out the relationship severance agreement from his coat. Since Madam also feels I'm not worthy of being Xiao Song's brother, then let's not be. I'll trouble you two to sign the agreement, and from now on, we'll be even. Young master, you can't be rash. The maid, Wang Ma, reminded him. She was one of the few people in this house who was kind to Xiao Lu. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing, Xiao Lu said gently. For him now, leaving the Qiao family was the only way to find a path to survival. In the living room, the Qiao couple, Xiao Lan, and Xiao Song were all present. What a coincidence! Everyone is here except for second sister. Then you can all be witnesses. I just checked, and this is legally binding. As long as you two sign your names, I will never return to the Qiao family to be an eyesore to you again. Wang Guomei glanced at it. Are you crazy? What are you trying to do? Nothing. Didn't you say I wasn't fit to be a member of the Qiao family? Not fit to be Xiao Song's brother? Just sign your name, and you'll never have to see me again. Aren't you happy? Fine, you ungrateful son. Xiao Zhengong trembled with anger. Where did you learn such a despicable trick? Now you've learned to threaten your parents, have you? He grew even angrier and, as he spoke, began to look around the living room for a handy tool to teach Xiao Lu a lesson. I don't want to threaten anyone. I'm just tired. Let's just end it here. I carried you for 10 months. You think you can sever ties just by saying so? Wang Guomei's voice was shrill. Why waste so many words on him? This brat is just asking for a lesson. If we don't teach him properly now, people will curse us for failing to raise our son. Furious, Xiao Zhengong grabbed a mop from the corner of the living room and swung at his head. He did not hold back. The first time Xiao Tsong falsely accused Xiao Lu of pushing him down, Xiao Lu refused to admit it. In a fit of rage, Xiao Zhengong beat him with a mop until his shin fractured. Unable to bear such explosive pain, Xiao Lu had cried and submitted then. He won't tell the truth unless he's beaten. He should have just admitted it earlier. He brought this on himself. In this family, it seemed everyone thought it was perfectly natural to beat a confession out of Xiao Lu because he was supposedly full of lies. But this time, Xiao Lu did not dodge or evade, allowing Xiao Zhengong to swing the mop at his head. The force was immense. Once again, Xiao Lu's head was broken and bleeding. A flash of gold exploded in his mind. Xiao Lu had to hold onto the table to barely stay on his feet. He looked up, his face covered in blood. Not expecting to have hit him so hard, Xiao Zhengong was startled and subconsciously dropped the mop. Xiao Lu, seeing his head and face covered in blood, the members of the Qiao family couldn't help but cry out in alarm. But Xiao Lu's expression was calm as he looked up at his parents. You're right. This life of mine was given to me by the Qiao family. I can never repay it. Dad, Mom, I'm returning this life to you. From now on, we are even. Xiao Lu staggered to his feet and stood before Xiao Zhengong. He pushed the mop back into his hands. Then he pinched his own hand hard to keep from fainting. He tilted his head back, his body and face covered in blood, and begged his parents to take his life. You think I don't dare, don't you? Who do you think you can threaten? Xiao Zhan's hand trembled incessantly. Stop talking. Hurry and send him to the hospital. His head is covered in blood. Wang Guomei shouted in a panic. Xiao Lu was about to say it wasn't necessary. But as soon as he opened his mouth, a gush of blood poured out. He couldn't understand how he had so much blood to lose. Xiao Lu calmly wiped his mouth, took the agreement again, and handed it to Xiao Zhengong. The back of his outstretched hand was still stained with blood. Do you still want to hit me? If you do, I'll wait until you're finished, until you've beaten all the Qiao family blood out of me. If not, can you sign it? Are you deliberately trying to anger me today? You stole the money yourself. Your mother said a few words and wouldn't let you eat, and now you want to make the whole family miserable. No, I wouldn't dare to deliberately anger you. I'm just tired and want to rest, Xiao Lu said with difficulty, blood continuously trickling from the corner of his mouth, a shocking sight. Somehow, Xiao Zhengong felt a scalding heat in his palm, and his hand trembled involuntarily, letting go of the mop. This son of his, defying him time and time again. Even if he had accidentally injured him, was it not wrong for him to treat his parents this way? He still lacked discipline. He flew into a rage out of shame. What do you think you are? Who would want you as a son of the Qiao family? Without us, you are nothing. Without even looking, he sneered and scrawled his name. Xiao Lu hurriedly thanked Xiao Zhengong, then took the agreement and walked towards Wang Guomei. Only you are left. Wang Guomei looked up at him, her voice trembling slightly. You're just blaming me, aren't you? You blame me for disciplining you, for not letting you eat, for making you kneel in the living room. So you're deliberately putting on this show to break my heart, aren't you? Xiao Lu hastily denied. No, that's not it. I wouldn't dare. How could I dare to do that to you? It's all my fault for making you angry. Once this is signed, I will never make a mistake again. Sign it, mother. This is the last time I will call you that. Perhaps touched by a certain word, Wang Guomei stared at Xiao Lu's face, for the first time seriously sizing up this unlikable son. You said it. Don't regret it later. She scrawled her name and threw the agreement at her suddenly rebellious son. Then thank you, Ms. Wan and Mr. Qiao. I will move out tonight. Xiao Lu smiled gently, his eyes filled with pure gratitude. There had been so much commotion that night. Visibly, Xiao Lu was genuinely happy after announcing the severing of ties. He stumbled back to his storage room to get his clothes and luggage. It couldn't even fill one suitcase. With a loud crash, a torrential downpour began outside. Nanny Wang stood at the door and asked with concern, "Young Master Lu, why don't you leave tomorrow?" "Don't worry. The sooner I leave, the sooner I can start living a good life." Xiao Lu gave Nanny Wang a hug. He was an orphan and cherished every bit of kindness he received. Nanny Wang had once brought him fever medicine in the middle of the night. He remembered this kindness. The Qiao family sat in the living room, watching with strange expressions as the blood-soaked Xiao Lu walked into the rain with only a small suitcase. Mother One bit her lip, feeling a strange stuffiness in her heart. She threatened Xiao Lu's departing figure. "If you leave tonight, I will act as if I never had you as a son." The only response was the boy's thin back. It was unclear whether he hadn't heard or didn't want to reply. Xiao Lu didn't even turn his head, walking straight into the rain. To leave in such a heavy rain, what on earth did the family do to wrong him? Wang Guomei murmured to herself. Seeing her like this, Qiao Tsongtsong's eyes flickered, and he stepped forward, crying, "Mama, it's all my fault. I know, I took brother's place, and brother hates me. That's why this is happening. I'll go get brother back right now." After speaking, he started to leave, crying. Xiaolong grabbed him. "Don't you dare. What if you go out in this heavy rain and get sick?" "If you ask me, Xiao Lu is doing this on purpose. He's putting on this act of self-pity to test his position in the family, to force Song Song out." With her most beloved youngest son involved, Wang Guomei could no longer think about Xiao Lu. She had a look of sudden realization. No wonder he wouldn't get his wounds treated and insisted on leaving tonight. He was waiting for us to bow our heads and go find him. What a deep scheme. I always said, what good child can be raised in a lowly place like an orphanage? Xiao Jingnong looked impatient. "All right, stop talking about him. He'll naturally come back after suffering a bit outside. Wanting me to apologize to my son? No way." They put Xiao Lu out of their minds and focused on coaxing the red-eyed Qiao Tsong, soon making him beam with joy. The Qiao family doted on this child they had raised since he was young, afraid he would suffer even the slightest grievance. Qiao Tsong was delicate and sensitive. To this day, they had not even publicly announced that the true child of the Qiao family was Qiao Lu. Even his household registration had not been transferred back. Looking at this loving family, housekeeper Wang sighed. Somehow, she just had a feeling. Young Master Lu's departure this time was definitely not some ploy to win sympathy. She was afraid he was truly not coming back. Xiao Lu walked in the rain. The longer he walked, the lighter his steps became, and the happier he felt. The rain washed the blood from his face and rinsed the dirt from his body, leaving only the original Xiao Lu. He didn't feel scared. Instead, he was filled with excitement and relief. He had finally escaped from that hellhole. He looked forward to finally being able to live a dignified life like a human being. He went to a clinic overnight for an forge rip, then spent 300 yuan to rent a self-built house in the suburbs. Although it was remote and crude, with a concrete floor, but Xiao Lu felt it was 1,000, 10,000 times better than the Qiao family home. No one could kick him out, and no one would resort to beating or scolding him at a moment's notice. He could even eat as much as he wanted. No one would use the excuse of a wealthy family's upbringing to keep him from eating his fill. Xiao Lu found the time to go to the hospital and confirmed that he did not currently have stomach cancer. Reborn into this life, Xiao Lu now had only two goals: eat well and guard against stomach cancer, get into Shaman University, and continue his gaming career. The college entrance exam was in 3 months. Xiao Lu's grades were good, but still some distance from Shaman University standards. So, for the time being, he would spend a few hours each day power leveling in games to earn living expenses. Then, he would grind through practice questions. The college entrance exam might be the most important test in one's life. This time, Xiao Lu had to win. Meanwhile, the atmosphere in the Qiao family home was somewhat somber. At first, Wang Guomei thought nothing of the matter, but as the days went by, a week had passed, and Xiao Lu had not returned. Growing anxious, she summoned the butler. "Have you checked the orphanage?" "He didn't go back." "No, madam. I've called the director several times. The young master never went back." Wang Guomei pressed. "What about the school?" "That little brat hasn't been to school." The butler looked troubled. "We don't know which school the young master attends. At the time, you said you were afraid young Master Song would have a difficult time at school, So you didn't transfer the young master to Yulin High School. You should still be at No. 9 middle school, I suppose. All the Qiao children had attended Yulin High School, and the family had intended to send Qiao Lu there as well when he was first brought back. But Qiao Tsong had pitifully mentioned that he wouldn't know whether to call Qiao Lu big brother at school. Only then did they remember that, fearing gossip about Qiao Tsong, they had never formally announced Qiao Lu's identity. To reduce conflict, Qiao Lu had never transferred schools. Wang Guomei's expression turned ugly. Go find him now. What use are you if you don't even know where the child goes to school? Also, call the second child and tell her to come home and think of something. I think this little brat is trying to raise hell. The anger in Wang Guomei's heart burned hotter and hotter. In her mind, Qiao Lu's actions were no different from a provocation. When Xiao Yin came home that evening, Wang Guomei was still sitting furiously on the sofa. Xiao Yin was already working. She was the most outstanding of the Qiao children and was often away on business trips, so she was unaware of what had been happening at home recently. Mom, why did you call me back in such a hurry? Wang Guomei snorted coldly. Why did I call you? I called you home to find your brother. That little brat Xiao Lu. I said a few words to him, and now he's nowhere to be found, playing runaway on me. Ah, so you didn't call him to ask? Xiao Yin asked subconsciously. After all, the Qiao children were all given personal mobile phones after elementary school. If you can't find someone, you just call them. Wang Guomei frowned. It seemed Xiao Lu had never used a mobile phone at home. Xiao Yan's expression gradually became strange. You didn't buy him one, did you? He had his own money. Why would I buy him anything? Wang Guomei said with a pout. Unconvinced, she called the butler and housekeeper Wang. Doesn't Xiao Lu have a phone? Did anyone buy him one? The butler shook his head. Since he arrived, young Master Qiao has never said he needed anything. The master is busy with work and doesn't bother with such trivial matters, and you never ask. With just that one sentence, Xiao Yin noticed the anomaly of Qiao Lu's existence in this family. Had no one really ever asked about his daily life? Their clothes were all custom-made, and each of them had a mobile phone. She had always thought that Qiao Lu's treatment was not much different from theirs. Frowning, Xiao Yin went up to Qiao Lu's room on the second floor, and was shocked by how cramped and empty it was. There were hardly any decorations in the room. It looked like a guest room that had long been uninhabited. It was very sudden when Xiao Lu was found and brought back. The remaining rooms on the second floor had been converted into Qiao Tsong's study and playroom. So with no other space available, he was told to temporarily stay in the storage room. No one expected him to stay there for so long. She frowned as she surveyed the room's furnishings. It was remarkably Spartan, with only a desk, a cabinet, and a bed. Opening the wardrobe, she found only a single suit, carelessly tossed in a corner. Xiao Yin remembered it. It was a suit Wang Guomei had casually given Qiao Lu when he first came home. At the time, Qiao Lu had been so overwhelmed by the favor his eyes reddened, only to be mocked by the girls for being a country bumpkin who had never seen the world. Xiao Yin had seen Qiao Lu iron this suit and hang it up carefully. He clearly cherished it, wearing it to every Qiao family banquet. Why was it just thrown in the wardrobe now? Xiao Yin walked over to the desk. In the trash bin, there was a photograph. She picked it up and glanced at it, her pupils contracting. It was a family photo, taken the day Qiao Lu first arrived. Now, the part with Qiao Lu had been cut out, leaving only the 5 of them. This photo was the only thing Qiao Lu had ever proactively asked for. It was a casual snapshot from a family banquet, not even in a frame. Just a single, solitary photo, yet when Qiao Lu received it, he had smiled with joy for a long time. The teddy bear on the bed looked familiar. It was the one Qiao Lu had been hugging when he got lost. From then until he was brought back to the Qiao family, Qiao Lu had slept with it every night. He doesn't want it anymore. A sudden unease crept over Xiao Yin. She took the photo and the teddy bear and went to find Wang Guomei. What exactly did Qiao Lu take when he left? There's nothing in his room, and this photo, he cut up. Wang Guomei irritably took the photo and looked at it. That boy needs to be taught a lesson. He makes a mistake and then has the gall to cut up a photo. Who is he putting on this act for? She recalled that night. He seemed to have only a small suitcase when he left, not much in it. Xiao Yin frowned. Then why were there so few things in his room? It was as if the family had never prepared anything for him at all. Wait, while he was living here, who bought his clothes and shoes? Wang Guomei was taken aback. I didn't. Maybe the housekeeper bought them. Impossible. As I recall, he only ever wore that one suit. The rest of the time, he was in his school uniform. Don't tell me he had no other clothes to wear. What do you mean, no clothes to wear? Xiao Zhengong walked in from outside, casually tossing his coat to the maid. Xiao Yin asked with a frown. I'm talking about Xiao Lu, who was responsible for his daily needs after he came home. Ask your mother. I'm so busy with work, how would I have time for that? Wang Guomei regularly had clothes custom-made for the other children in the family. Only Xiao Lu seemed to wear that same school uniform year-round. Once, when Xiao Tsong and the others were being measured, Xiao Lu had asked about it curiously. But Wang Guomei, finding him unpresentable, had scolded him harshly and chased him away. After that, Xiao Lu never participated again, and so he had no custom-made clothes. Feeling a bit guilty, Wang Guomei slammed the photo down. I may not have specifically bought clothes for Xiao Lu, but he had his own money. I clearly gave him a black card when he first came back. How could he possibly be short on clothes? If he had money and didn't buy any, there's something wrong with him. Who knows what he spent the money on? Maybe video games. Before she could finish, Xiao Zhengong's expression suddenly turned grim. He had no money. Wang Guomei was speechless. Xiao Yin also looked at him in confusion. Xiao Zhengong's voice was strained. When he first came home, Xiao Lu said he was already grateful enough just to be back, and that he wouldn't need much money in his last year of high school. So he returned the card to me. So in all the time he was here, Xiao Lu had no money to buy clothes or shoes. Wang Guomei found it hard to believe. How is that possible? If he really had no money, wouldn't he have asked for it? Xiao Yin sighed helplessly, recalling how timid and cautious Xiao Lu had been when he first arrived. I'm afraid he really wouldn't have asked. Trying to fit into a new family. How could he bring himself to ask? Thinking of how she often berated Xiao Lu for not tidying himself up and for embarrassing the Xiao family, Wang Guomei grew furious out of shame. Even if that's true, it's no excuse for him to steal money. There are plenty of people without money. Do they all resort to stealing? Xiao Lu just has bad character. If we don't discipline him properly, what won't he be capable of? Xiao Yin sighed, vaguely sensing that something was wrong. She took out the last item from Xiao Lu's room, a worn-out teddy bear. Let's put the matter of the stolen money aside for a moment. This is the teddy bear he was holding before he got lost. From the orphanage to here, he always kept it, even sleeping with it at night. But now he's left both the teddy bear and the photo behind, yet he took all his other belongings and left. Wang Guomei scowled. So what? I'm afraid there's more to Xiao Lu's departure than it seems. Children who lack a sense of security develop an object attachment, which represents the affection they're missing. The teddy bear was with Xiao Lu for so long. It probably came to represent the Xiao family or a mother's love. Now he's left it behind and run off on his own. Mom, I'm afraid we really need to find him. Exchanging a glance, both Wang Guomei and Xiao Zhengong looked grim. Wang Guomei stood up, clutching her phone. Then let's go find him. I refuse to believe we can't find him anywhere. That brat is clearly doing this on purpose. He's pulling this stunt to make me feel guilty. Stealing money, and he thinks he's justified? When I find him, I'll be sure to teach him a good lesson. Acting on her word, Wang Guomei stormed into Xiao Lu's high school that very day. But the news she received was that Xiao Lu had transferred 3 days ago. Transferred? So suddenly? Wang Guomei asked in disbelief. Yes, the boy said the college entrance exam was approaching, so he found another school to attend. Are you his mother? How could you not know about this? The teacher asked, looking at her suspiciously. Momentarily speechless, Wang Guomei remembered that the Xiao family had never publicly announced Xiao Lu's identity. She felt a pang of guilt. She explained awkwardly, Yes, I am. It's just that Xiao Lu is an orphan and was only recently acknowledged by our family. The teacher nodded, half believing her, and called Xiao Lu that evening. When Xiao Lu had transferred, he had left his new phone number. The teacher, being cautious and finding Wang Guomei's face completely unfamiliar, decided not to give them his contact information. After all, in this day and age, who knew what their intentions were in asking for a child's whereabouts? Hello, Xiao Lu. Your mother came looking for you today. Luojia Hutong was the new address Xiao Lu had found for himself. Although it was a remote part of the old city district, the apartment was clean and cheap. The surrounding neighbors all knew each other, making it a very safe place to live. After paying the rent deposit, Xiao Lu was left with a pitiful 50 yuan. Even affording food was a problem. With no other choice, Xiao Lu prepared to return to his old trade. In his previous life, he had developed the country's biggest online game and made a fortune. Reborn into this life, even without having played games before, Xiao Lu could pick it up quickly. He bought himself a mobile phone, registered a new number and a new game account, and, at the same time, processed his withdrawal from Ninth High School, planning to transfer to the private second high school. Ninth High was a very ordinary middle school with subpar teaching staff and a poor environment. For the sake of the college entrance exam, Xiao Lu felt it was necessary to change schools. Second High, with its generous scholarships and strong faculty, was a much better choice. The only problem was that in a month, when the second semester of his senior year started, he would have to pay a hefty tuition fee. He certainly couldn't count on the Qiao family. He had to figure it out himself. Fortunately, Xiao Lu's path as a game power leveler was going smoothly. By playing for 6 hours a day at 50 yuan an hour, he could earn enough for his tuition and living expenses in less than a month before his senior year started. Putting his plan into action, Xiao Lu spent all his time in his rented room, either power leveling for money or studying, effectively turning himself into a shut-in. This continued until the day his teacher from Ninth High told him that Wang Guanmei had come to the school looking for him. Hearing this, Xiao Lu found it laughable. Since the school year began, not a single person from the Qiao family had cared where he went to school, nor had anyone ever attended his parent-teacher conferences. When Xiao Lu was a child, what he envied most was seeing other children with their parents at conferences while he had no one. But after returning to the Qiao family, when he once cautiously made the request to Wang Guanmei, all he received was verbal abuse. With grades like yours, you want me to attend a parent-teacher conference? You have the nerve to even ask. Look at that wretched school of yours. The roads aren't even paved properly. A single trip there would ruin a pair of my high heels. How dare you ask me to go? It's utterly humiliating. Wang Guanmei had rejected him without a shred of mercy. And so, Xiao Lu remained the child in his class, without parents. The warmth and motherly love he had longed for had never been bestowed upon him. Now that he had left on his own, they finally remembered him. How ridiculous! Fortunately, neither his mother nor the Qiao family could stir his emotions anymore. In his heart, these people were no different from being dead. Hearing that Wang Guanmei was looking for him, he only felt it was a nuisance. He gave a brief reply to his teacher and paid no mind to the news about the Qiao family. After all, this place was far enough away, and he had a new phone number. Even if the Qiao family wanted to find him, it wouldn't be easy to do so quickly. Once his senior year began, he would apply to live in the dormitory. By staying at school every day, he wouldn't have to fear being disturbed by them. Xiao Lu's plan was well thought out, but he never expected that the Qiao family would find his address through the orphanage. After earning some money, Xiao Lu had made a donation to the orphanage. Coincidentally, on that very day, Xiao Yin had dragged Xiao Lan along to the orphanage to ask for news of him. When Xiao Lan learned that Xiao Lu had donated 3,000 yuan to the orphanage, she was fuming. That brat has been away from home for so many days without saying a word to us, yet he has the mind to donate money to the orphanage. He's truly heartless. At first, she thought Xiao Tsong had taken all the money, but now, looking at the 3,000 yuan received by the orphanage, she suddenly had some doubts. Xiao Lu must have stolen money from home too. Otherwise, where would he get the money to donate? He's like a dead pig that doesn't fear boiling water. How did he have the face to say he didn't take it back then? Hearing this, Xiao Yin glanced at her, sharply catching that one word. 2. With an awkward smile, Xiao Lan tried to cover for herself. I misspoke just now. I just think that if he could donate money, he must have stolen it. Mom didn't wrong him. After looking Xiao Lan's expression up and down, Xiao Yin turned and went out. She even called Wang Guanmei, asking if she wanted to come and look for Xiao Lu together. You guys go ahead. Why are you looking for me? I'm playing mahjong. I don't have time. That brat just wants me to bow my head. I won't let him have his way. Wang Guanmei hung up the phone as soon as she finished speaking. With no other choice, the two sisters could only head to Luo Family Alley by themselves. This was a commoner's district. The road was uneven, and there was sewage flowing from some trash cans on the roadside. Xiao Lan pinched her nose, a look of disgust on her face. He really is a rat, having to live in such a dirty place. Xiao Yin glanced at the ground and couldn't help but frown. How can anyone live in a place this dirty? They were quite lucky today. They hadn't walked far when they saw Xiao Lu's figure. He was digging for wild vegetables on the ground after buying some steam buns. Though they were called wild vegetables, in the eyes of the high and mighty young ladies from the wealthy family, they were no different from the wild grass by the roadside. Doesn't he have money to donate? Then why is he eating this stuff? What on earth is going on? I have to go and ask him. Xiao Lan looked incredulous and was about to rush forward to grab him. Xiao Yin stopped her. Don't be so hasty. Let's see what Xiao Lu is actually doing every day. Having managed a company for many years, Xiao Yin always planned before she acted. In her opinion, the reason Xiao Lu's relationship with the family had become so strained was because both sides were too impulsive. Perhaps there was a hidden story behind what happened that night. Moreover, as the second child in the family, she actually understood that the Xiao parents had always favored Xiao Song. After all, as the second child, she wasn't necessarily doted on much at home either. It was just that she was grown up now and had shown a talent for business, so she had come to terms with these family matters. But Xiao Lu, she remembered how, when he first came to their home, Xiao Lu knew she often worked late and would cook sweet soup for her every night. Xiao Yin always felt that perhaps this younger brother was not the kind of person they thought he was. Xiao Lu was enthusiastically digging for wild vegetables on the side. In fact, it was a type of purslane that could be eaten in a cold salad. A neighbor, Grandpa Gua, had given him a plate 2 days ago. It was so delicious that Xiao Lu couldn't resist coming to dig for it himself again. The two Xiao sisters, whose fingers had never touched spring water, knew nothing of these things. They just watched in confusion as Xiao Lu hummed a song while digging for these wild vegetables, and then walked home carrying the bag. Was he this happy after leaving the Xiao family? After exchanging a glance, the Xiao sisters followed Xiao Lu's footsteps. They saw Xiao Lu walk into a private house, which was probably the house he had rented for himself. Then he skillfully began to wash the vegetables and quickly tossed a bowl of cold salad for himself. So unpresentable, just eating some grass from the roadside. People who don't know would think our Xiao family is so poor. Xiao Lan muttered on the side. Although she was the eldest as the first child, she was spoiled rotten. Coupled with her average grades, the family had no expectations for her, so she had always been a bit childish. Watching Xiao Lu's nimble figure, Xiao Yin only felt her heart sinking. Xiao Lu was an orphan, and he could live very well on his own. And after leaving the Xiao family, he was visibly happy. When he first arrived at the Xiao family, he had also tried hard to be considerate and friendly. But his tattered clothes made people feel he was thoroughly impoverished. His frequent cooking of soups and dishes for the family was also seen as unpresentable. In the Xiao family, it seemed that whatever Xiao Lu did was wrong. Over time, Xiao Lu became more and more timid and withdrawn, until one time a guest came to the house. Xiao Lu had just stewed some white fungus soup and took the initiative to bring it out for the guest. The person asked doubtfully, "Which child is this? I've never seen him before." At that time, Wang Guame answered without thinking, "The nanny's child, just staying at our house for a couple of days." With that one sentence, Xiao Lu's face completely darkened. That night, for the first time, he mustered the courage to ask Wang Guame why she wouldn't acknowledge him. But all he got in return was a scolding. "Are your grades good? Do you excel in anything? How could I acknowledge you with that reek of the lower class all over you? Besides, Song is still young. If you're the real young master of the Qiao family, what does that make him? You're willing to break your little brother's heart. How can you be so selfish?" That was the first time Xiao Lu had shed tears in front of them. But not a single person spoke up for him. Xiao Lan even said scornfully, "A commoner is a commoner, obsessed with how to steal Song's place. Let me tell you, Song is the brother I've raised since childhood. You are nothing." After that, it seems she never saw Xiao Lu voluntarily do anything for the family again. His attitude towards them could be described as timid and fearful. Seeing Xiao Lu looking so relaxed and at ease now, Xiao Yan couldn't help but feel a pang of bitterness. This brother of hers would rather eat wild vegetables outside than return home. What on earth did the Qiao family mean to him? For once, the usually calm and astute CEO of the Qiao family hesitated, unsure if she should bring Xiao Lu back. Beside her, Xiaolon suddenly tugged at her hand. Look, Xiao Lu is playing a game. Through the glass window, Xiao Lu was engrossed in a game on his phone, muttering something about 50 or 100 yuan. So he did steal the money to play games, didn't he? Where else would he get the money to top up his game account? Or to make that donation? This won't do. I have to go teach him a lesson. Ignoring Xiao Yan's attempt to stop her, Xiao Lan stormed straight in, snatched Xiao Lu's phone, and smashed it on the ground. And you said you didn't take the family's money. If you didn't, how did you buy this phone? How are you playing games? Xiao Lu, you're such an ungrateful wretch. Mom and Dad are so worried about you at home, and you're hiding here playing games. She spoke with utter self-righteousness. Xiao Lu stared, dumbfounded, at his recently bought phone, now shattered on the floor. He looked up at Xiao Lan's triumphant face, and a boundless rage surged in his chest. He had already hidden himself away in Luo Family Alley. Yet they had to hound him and even smash the phone he had worked so hard to buy. Clenching his fists, Xiao Lu shot to his feet. Why'd you have to barge in and smash my phone? Who let you in? Get out. Seeing Xiao Lu act so forcefully for the first time, Xiao Lan's eyes widened in shock. Then, flying into a rage from embarrassment, she retorted, I'm your older sister. What kind of attitude is this? You have no manners. Was I wrong? You stole the family's money and ran off here to play games, and you still have the nerve to yell at me. Xiao Lu sneered. Why don't you come with me to the police station? We can have them investigate who really stole the money that night. Don't tell me you don't know. Xiao Yin came up behind them, her expression unreadable. What? Xiaolon knew. Believing all the Xiaos were cut from the same cloth, Xiao Lu looked at them with a face full of scorn. What are you pretending for? It was obviously Xiao Song who took that money. Xiaolon knew perfectly well, but kept framing me, all to protect that precious little brother of yours. You're Xiao Song's sisters, not mine. I have no sisters and no mother. I'm an orphan. Stop putting on airs in front of me. What do you mean by that? Are you trying to cut ties with the family? Xiaolon was fuming, but then she glanced guiltily at Xiao Yan. Things might be more complicated than she thought. To think that Song was involved. Xiao Yan knew this was tricky. Xiao Lu had likely lost all trust in the Qiao family. Let's find a place to talk this through properly. This wasn't why we came here today. Xiao Lu's face was flushed with anger. Then what did you mean? I get it. You're surprised to see that I haven't starved to death, right? Let me tell you, I haven't taken a single cent from the Qiao family. I earned this money myself, 50 or 100 yuan at a time, from game boosting. What right do you have to smash my phone? He thought about the hard life he'd been living, the tuition for to middle school he had just managed to save up, and now the Qiao family was hounding him again. A mixture of anger and indignation welled up. Xiao Lu pulled several large bills from his bag and threw them forcefully at Xiaolon. I stayed at the Qiaos for 2 years, and besides food and shelter, I never took a single cent from them. Did you come here to demand money from me? So, is this enough? Is it enough? The bills scattered across Xiaolon, leaving her stunned. For the first time in her life, she had been insulted with money. Xiaolon trembled with rage, about to scream a curse. But Xiao Lu, who had just been shouting furiously, suddenly rolled his eyes back and collapsed face down. Xiao Lu. Panicked, Xiao Yin fumbled to dial 120 and send Xiao Lu to the hospital. Remembering what Xiao Lu had just said, her arms trembled involuntarily. Xiao Lu's life with the Qiao family was bad, far worse than she had imagined. For the first time, she realized this with such clarity. The trigger for Xiao Lu running away this time was their mother thinking he had stolen money. If it was as Xiao Lu said, that Xiao Song had actually stolen it, and Xiaolon had deliberately framed him, would Xiao Lu really be willing to go back to the Qiao family? Xiao Yin covered her face, a sudden panic seizing her. She felt as if she was about to lose this brother. At the hospital, the emergency doctors quickly took Xiao Lu in and ran tests all morning. How was Xiao Lu's condition? Xiaolon had also quieted down considerably, but she was impatient waiting for the test results. Xiao Yan's hands trembled until they were numb. No matter what, Xiao Lu was their brother. She had never thought of intentionally hurting him or causing him harm. The test results came out quickly, and the doctor called the two sisters to the bedside. What is wrong with you people? The patient is suffering from severe malnutrition. How are you taking care of him at home? He's only 18. How could his gastritis be this severe? Xiao Yan snapped her head up. Malnutrition. Not just malnutrition, but also moderate gastritis. If this isn't managed well, it can lead to stomach cancer. What about his parents? Haven't they noticed this? For a moment, Xiao Yan was at a loss for words. Even Xiao Lan bit her lip, unable to speak. After a moment, Xiao Lan muttered under her breath. Isn't it his own fault for being a picky eater and not eating properly? What does it have to do with mom and dad? In truth, they both knew better. Was Xiao Lu a picky eater? Not at all. He could happily eat a whole basin of wild vegetables. Then why would he have gastritis and be malnourished? The answer was obvious. It was well known that one Guame liked to use corporal punishment on Xiao Lu. At the slightest displeasure, she would withhold his meals or lock him up. They heard that on the night of the stolen money, she even made Xiao Lu kneel by the dinner table and watch them eat. It would be a miracle if his stomach were healthy in such an environment. No love from his family, no clothes or shoes, not even enough food to fill his stomach. Her heart trembled as an overwhelming wave of sorrow and pain engulfed Xiao Yan. At this point, she finally understood what kind of life Xiao Lu had been living in the Qiao family. Her own brother had been starved into developing gastritis in their home. How exactly had the family been abusing him? That's right, abuse. Besides abuse, Xiao Yan couldn't think of a more fitting word to describe the situation. With reddened eyes, she asked Xiao Lan, was what Xiao Lu just said true? Did Song Song take the money? No. We're sisters, and you're still lying to me. Xiao Lan pressed her lips together and said resentfully, Song Song is just young and doesn't know any better. But Xiao Lu must have taken some too. Do you really believe that nonsense about him earning money from playing games? Xiao Yan, why are you suddenly speaking up for Xiao Lu? Our most beloved brother is Song Song. So that's how it was. They knew Xiao Lu didn't do it, yet they framed him as a matter of course and drove him out of the house. She finally understood where Xiao Lu's sense of suffocation came from. Xiao Yan took a deep breath and asked Xiao Lan softly, isn't Xiao Lu our brother too? Xiao Lan froze for a moment, glancing at Xiao Lu on the hospital bed. How can that be the same? Xiao Yan stood up, looking at Xiao Lu's pale, sleeping face, and couldn't help but smile bitterly. It wasn't the same. The adopted brother was showered with love at home. His sister even helped to cover for him when he stole money. But her biological brother was starved to the point of malnutrition, so desperate that he would rather cut ties with the family and move out to live alone. Who was right and who was wrong? Was there even need to ask? In that house, not a single person cared for Xiao Lu. Not a single person loved him. What they forced him to become. He was only 18, after all. A warmth filled her eyes, and Xiao Yan couldn't stop the tears from falling. Suddenly, she realized that she was an accomplice. She clearly knew that Xiao Lu did not have it easy at home. But she had always thought, what could really happen within a family? She had also subconsciously felt that since Xiao Lu came from an orphanage, it was only natural for him to suffer a little to integrate into the Qiao family. It wasn't excessive, she had thought. She was his own sister, yet she had stood by and watched Xiao Lu suffer at home. That must be why he would rather eat wild vegetables just to escape the Qiao family. At this thought, Xiao Yan couldn't suppress her tears. When Xiao Lu first came home, he had clearly shown goodwill. Just how much had he suffered to become this thorny person he was now? She didn't dare to imagine. Just then, the teenager on the bed's eyelashes fluttered. Seeing his two sisters in the room, his expression held no gratitude, only disgust. As if he were looking at two repulsive strangers. What are you still doing here? Came a laugh at me. Xiao Lan rushed forward, pointing at Xiao Lu's face. You ungrateful wretch. We were the ones who brought you to the hospital. Who else do you think would care about you? With a sneer, Xiao Lu's eyes filled with mockery. Then why am I in the hospital in the first place? He didn't need to be told. He already knew it was nothing more than his stomach problems or low blood sugar. He'd had this problem since his past life, all because of the Chow family's harsh treatment during his youth. When it came to Wang Guangmei punishing him, Xiaolon had never made things worse to cause him to be starved. So why was she putting on this virtuous act now? Seeing that Xiao Lu was completely ungrateful, Xiaolon stomped her foot in a mixture of anger and guilt and walked away. Xiao Yin stood by the hospital bed, unsure of how to face this younger brother of hers. To be fair, their blood relationship was closer, and they even looked alike. Judging by Xiao Lu's current self-reliance, their temperaments as siblings should have been very compatible. But now, the only thing in Xiao Lu's eyes when he looked at her was hatred. In the beginning, he used to call her second sister sweetly. With difficulty, Xiao Yin stepped forward, sat down, and began to peel an apple for Xiao Lu. Xiaolon has a fiery temper, but she doesn't have any ill intentions towards you. After all, we are family. Before she could finish, Xiao Lu interrupted her. When they framed me, they didn't treat me like family. Xiaolan's voice was a little dry. I know you may have been wronged, but Mom and Dad aren't completely indifferent to you. Can you at least come home first? I promise I'll protect you. Looking into Xiao Lu's cold eyes, for some reason, Xiao Yin felt that if she couldn't persuade Xiao Lu to go home today, he would never come back again. She didn't want to lose this brother. Xiao Lu looked at her with a half-smile. Xiao Yin couldn't continue. Even she felt it was against her conscience to say such things about how the Xiao couple treated Xiao Lu. In all fairness, Xiao Zhengong was busy with work and never home, while Wang Guangmei did dote on her child. But that child was specifically Xiao Songsong. Xiao Lu was the one who was always neglected and bullied. After finally being welcomed back into the family, he could only watch as his biological mother doted on his adopted brother, while she would either beat or scold him. Seeing the growing coldness in Xiao Lu's eyes, Xiao Yin anxiously added, "At least I've shown you kindness, right? When you had a high fever after swimming, I was the one who brought you fever medicine, wasn't I?" She held Xiao Lu's hand. "Just for your second sister's sake, please come home first, okay? Is there anything a family can't talk about?" She was referring to the time when Xiao Lu was learning to swim and was left in the pool by Xiao Songsong. It was clearly Xiao Songsong who had volunteered to teach Xiao Lu how to swim, but after leading him to the center of the pool, he turned around and got out. "Brother, learn by yourself. I'll go get you a drink." After saying that, Xiao Songsong disappeared, leaving Xiao Lu to nearly drown in the pool, and he later developed a high fever. When the incident came to light, Xiao Songsong unthinkingly shifted the blame to Xiao Lu. Brother just wanted to play in the water and didn't want to come out. Because of this, Wang Guangmei flew into a rage and, in her anger, sent the family doctor away. So Xiao Lu could only curl up in his small room with a high fever. It wasn't until evening, when Xiao Yin brought him fever medicine, that he started to recover. Logically, he should have been grateful. However, Annie Wang took pity on me and brought me fever medicine at 3 in the afternoon. Xiao Lu threw out this sentence with a sneer. Xiao Yin looked up in disbelief, her hand holding the apple, trembling faintly. "So, I was already clear-headed by 3 or 4 in the afternoon. I was just sleeping. I heard what you all said. You said Xiao Songsong was frightened and that I should be punished, so you shouldn't give me medicine and just let me suffer for a couple of days, since it wouldn't kill me anyway. You said Songsong was your real brother, and I deserve to be punished for getting him scolded. You also said you'd bring the medicine to me at night, which would be a good way to wear down my temper. Otherwise, I wouldn't learn my lesson." Xiao Lu spoke each word deliberately, his gaze fixed on Xiao Yin, filled with coldness. With a clang, the knife fell to the floor. Xiao Yin was too flustered to hold the handle, not understanding how Xiao Lu knew all this. Her cheeks burned with shame, but her heart grew even more fearful. "You're no different from Xiaolon. You are all accomplices in hurting me. To talk about sibling affection now is simply ridiculous. What if my stomach problems had turned into stomach cancer? What if I had died? Would you still be trying to persuade me like this? Xiao Yin, your hypocrisy is laughable. You're even worse than a true villain like Xiaolon. Get out. The farther away from me, the better. I curse you all. You will definitely get what you deserve." In his past life, Xiao Lu knew the Qiao sister's intentions, but still swallowed his grievances, all for that little bit of false warmth. But in this life, he just wanted to be as far away from them as possible. The Qiao family was a den of demons. There was no way he would go back. Xiao Yan's lips trembled, and after stammering for a long time, she couldn't say a word. She couldn't explain why, because she had indeed done it. She did bring the medicine that night, and she did have the intention of teaching Xiao Lu a lesson. However, she absolutely did not want to lose this brother. She couldn't imagine how desperate the gravely ill Xiao Lu must have been when he heard those words. No wonder he had no lingering feelings for the Qiao family. With no face to stand there any longer, Xiao Yan grabbed her bag, turned around, and left. Just as she reached the door, she finally couldn't hold it in any longer and squatted down, bursting into tears. She knew her retribution had already arrived. Xiao Lu would never acknowledge her again. Xiao Yan returned home, utterly crestfallen. The Qiao family was all gathered today. Xiao Lan had already returned and was adding fuel to the fire, complaining to Wang Guomei. "We found him. He's eating and drinking just fine, living a good life. He even claims he's an orphan, with no sisters or parents. I think Xiao Lu's gotten too big for his britches. He doesn't even want to acknowledge us anymore." Hearing this, Wang Guomei seethed with anger. "We're asking about him every single day, and it turns out he doesn't give a damn about us. That ungrateful wretch. We never should have brought him back." Xiao Zhengong, sitting on the other side, his expression clouded over at these words. Qiao Tsong patted Wang Guomei's hand comfortingly. "It's all my fault. If I hadn't taken brother Qiao Lu's place in this family, he wouldn't have run away in a fit of anger. It has nothing to do with you. It's that kid's character that's rotten. He'd even frame his own brother. How could I have given birth to such a son?" She spoke through gritted teeth, as if Xiao Lu had committed some heinous, unforgivable crime. Xiao Yan took a deep breath, feeling a wave of despair. Xiao Lan had graduated from second-tier university, and Wang Guomei had even studied abroad back in the day. They were both considered highly educated people. She couldn't understand why her family was so harsh, so cold, so malicious, but only towards Xiao Lu. Yes, malicious. Putting herself in Xiao Lu's shoes, Xiao Yan suddenly felt a chill that seeped deep into her bones. To be ignored most of the time, subjected to corporal punishment and denied meals at a moment's notice, and then framed by his own family. If that wasn't malicious, what was? No wonder Xiao Lu didn't want to come home now. For him, life at the Qiaos was probably worse than being an orphan on the streets. That rebellious son, his ego has gotten too big. He doesn't respect me as his father at all. Growing up in an orphanage, his roots are rotten. He needs to be taught a harsh lesson, or he'll be completely ruined. Seeing them continue their tirade, Xiao Yan could bear it no longer and roared. "Enough! Have you said enough? Xiao Lu isn't like that at all." Wang Guomei stared at her in shock, unable to understand why her usually rational and gentle second daughter had suddenly exploded with such anger, and all for Xiao Lu. Xiao Yan sighed and handed her the medical report. "Take a look. See what's really going on with Xiao Lu." Listed on it was Xiao Lu's condition: gastritis, anemia, malnutrition. Xiao Lan looked away, a hint of guilt in her eyes. She still resented Xiao Lu for smashing a pile of money on her head, but she also understood that his physical condition was definitely related to the Qiao family. "This? Why are you showing me this?" Wang Guomei turned her eyes away, as if trying to escape. Xiao Yan let out a long sigh and sat down on the sofa. "The money Xiao Lu is spending now has nothing to do with our family. He earned it by power leveling in games. The hospital's diagnosis shows he has gastritis. If it's severe, it can become cancerous. And he's also malnourished." "Why is he malnourished? Why does he have stomach problems?" "Mom, don't you know the answer in your heart? In our home, he was constantly punished with confinement or denied dinner. An 18-year-old young man who weighs just over 120 pounds, he's pitifully thin. He's your son too. Dad, Mom, don't you feel any heartache for him at all?" Xiao Yan's voice trembled slightly. The image of Xiao Lu lying in bed with a mocking smile on his face made her heart panic. From Xiao Lu's perspective, she knew he definitely wouldn't want to return to the Qiao family. To him, it was no different from a den of monsters. But as a member of the Qiao family, As Xiao Lu's second older sister, she sincerely hoped their family could be whole and complete. She didn't want to lose this younger brother. But with the Qiao family's attitude, would Xiao Lu be willing to come back? Wang Guomei's expression froze for a moment. She stroked the diagnosis report, speechless for a time. Seeing her expression, Qiao Tsong suddenly knelt beside Wang Guomei with tears in his eyes. It's all my fault. I should have left home long ago. Then brother wouldn't be like this. Or let me go and ask brother to come back. I will sincerely apologize to him. It's all my fault for taking his place and making him angry. Otherwise, he wouldn't be on such bad terms with the family. Xiao Yin frowned and shot him a glance. Since when did she not know this little brother of hers was such a drama queen? Before, she didn't know the inside story. Every time Qiao Tsong came to her with these lines, looking aggrieved, she had subconsciously taken him at his word. And because of that, she had been a cold bystander to Xiao Lu's mistreatment. Because she had also subconsciously felt that Xiao Tsong was her real brother. Besides, Xiao Lu wasn't entirely innocent. He was always subtly targeting Xiao Tsong, so suffering a little wasn't out of line. But looking at Xiao Tsong now, between the two of them, who was really bullying whom? For the first time, Xiao Yin lost her temper with this beloved younger brother. Who really stole that money? Don't you know the answer in your heart? Tsong, we are a family. Xiao Lu is your brother. How could you steal the money and then frame him for it? Watching as he was kicked out of the Qiao family. What were you thinking? Hearing this, Qiao Tsong's face stiffened, and tears began to fall as he trembled. He turned to look at Wang Guomei, who was staring at him in stunned disbelief. You took it. Knowing he could no longer hide it, Qiao Tsong cried and explained. I did take that money. I admit I was too scared to say anything at the time, but I took the money to buy a present for Mom. It's almost her birthday, and I wanted to buy her a diamond bracelet, but I didn't have enough money. I had no choice but to take some. I don't know why the rest of the money ended up in Brother's room. He buried his face in Wang Guomei's lap, looking up with tears streaming down his cheeks. Mom, I can apologize to Brother. This whole thing is my fault. Please don't be angry with me, okay? Seeing her youngest son's tear-streaked face, Wang Guomei's hand froze for a moment before finally resting on Xiao Tsong's head. She had a soft spot for this son, whom she had doted on since he was little. Besides, knowing he wasn't her biological child, Xiao Tsong had always been insecure. She understood. Xiao Tsong must have been terrified at the time. Moreover, the rest of the money had mysteriously appeared in Xiao Lu's room, which meant Xiao Lu had at least taken the larger share. It's okay, I don't blame you. Mom knows you're a good boy. As for Xiao Lu, it's his own fault for being so withdrawn. We're all family. A little conflict is no reason to run away from home. Xiao Yin couldn't listen anymore. Mom, this wasn't Xiao Lu's fault to begin with. Wang Guomei turned, her face indignant. He upset Tsong and turned our home upside down. Isn't that his fault? As for the stolen money, I can just give him more to make up for it later. How big of a deal can it be? Is he really going to cut ties with the family over this? Wang Guomei didn't believe it. An 18-year-old boy at the height of his hot-blooded youth. He might stay angry for a few more days, but could he really not come home? Besides, the college entrance exams were coming up, and he had no money. Where could he go without relying on the Qiao family? If she gave in on this, it would be even harder to control Xiao Lu in the future. Looking at Wang Guomei's confident expression, Xiao Yin felt a wave of despair. She truly believed Xiao Lu was right. He wouldn't be coming back. No one here cared for him. They unscrupulously threw dirt on him and pinned the blame on him. What was there to miss? Unable to reason with her family, Xiao Yin finally left in disappointment. After she was gone, Qiao Zhengong summoned Wang Ma. Even now, he couldn't believe that the Qiao family had truly mistreated Xiao Lu. What's this about a medical certificate? Was Xiao Lu really not getting enough to eat at home? Wang Ma patted her apron and sighed. The young master indeed wasn't eating enough. Whenever the madam got angry, she would punish him by forbidding him from eating, and he had no money, so he often went hungry. One time, he was secretly making noodles and was caught by the young miss, who called him a rat that couldn't see the light of day. So young Master Lu didn't dare go to the kitchen to get food for himself anymore. Master, you should bring the young master back. He's only 18, and he has the college entrance exams this year. A young man like him can't be left alone outside with no one to look after him. Wang Guomei's lips thinned, her expression turning ugly. Xiao Zhengong stared at the medical certificate in his hand, his eyes filled with a complex mix of emotions. The Qiao family was a well-known, wealthy family in the area. He had never imagined that his own biological son would not have enough to eat. No one would believe it if word got out. What did you do? How did Xiao Lu end up with so many problems? Can our Qiao family even afford to give him a meal? Xiao Zhengong loosened his tie, questioning Wang Guomei impatiently. He was busy with work. Matters of the home and children had always been Wang Guomei's responsibility. You never asked about him either, did you? Back then, you were the one who said he had a bad temperament and needed to be disciplined properly, and now you're saying this. The couple looked at each other and fell silent in unspoken agreement. They knew in their hearts that neither of them was innocent. Perhaps there had been a misunderstanding, and they had wronged Qiao Lu. But it was impossible for the Qiao family's parents to bow their heads to him. What kind of parent apologizes to their child? They planned to find Qiao Lu and, at most, be a little nicer to him, give him more money,